Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Two Have and Two Roll podcast. My name is Oliver. I'm one half of your hosting duo. Joining me, as always, today is my co-host Robyn, but we are joined by a guest. We have our friend Jay joining us on the show today. Jay is a player of the Empire LARP system here in the UK. Jay's character Bobbert has made appearances in the Tales of Godric and Aranel. We talk about Jay's experiences with LARP and Empire LARP. We talk about the marches. We also talk about the other LARP systems that Jay plays. If you're watching us on YouTube, give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We are very close to the 1K subscriber mark. It is completely free and it will let you know when a new episode is posted, but it also helps us out and encourages us to make more content that you all love. If you're listening to this on your favorite audio platform, go give us the 5-star review. That helps us as well. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into our conversation with Jay. Hello everyone, we have Jay here with us. Welcome along to the show, Jay.
Good afternoon.
Jay, so my lineup question, as always, how did you get into LARP? What started you in this crazy hobby?
I'm gonna blame one of my probably one of my best friends, Ian. Plays Edmund in the Hartel. He'd been badgering me for many years to come. We originally planned to come to the first event of 2020. That never happened, obviously.
Oh, right, okay.
The pandemic and everything. So I ended up really getting into it, getting to the vibe. And my first event was a player event in the February of last year.
Seriously?
Wow, I would never have guessed that.
So I went to a Navarre player event just down the road and met some incredible people. It was one of the very first, like, after everything had happened. So everyone's a bit sort of, they were very into it, very going for it. And I was like, yeah, I absolutely love this.
Yeah.
And then just dived in head first straight away after that little toe dip. And
we've spoken to a few people that were in your group, because I think we had it the best after the COVID, because we got into it like the October of 2021. We started thinking about getting into like Empire specifically, so we had a perfect amount of like 6 months or something just to get into the figure out what we needed, get into the community. Everyone was starting to get hype again for it. But yeah, we've spoken to a couple of people that were in your shoes that were like, right, I'm going in 2020, and then
I had a lot of time to read the wiki, is what I'm going to
say. Did you get to the end of it, or are we still
going? Still going.
Yeah. What was that like, being like going to a player event first?
It was nice because it was small. And I sort of mentioned like to people, and like, this is my first time doing LARP. I'd done like tabletop RPGs and stuff beforehand and run games.
Yeah.
So I knew about the roleplay side of it, but doing it in person, it's a change. Everyone was so good. Like, they'd sit down and have chats with me. I could ask questions, and that I think it set me up going to Anvil for the first time. Of everyone's invested in this. They want to have fun, and they want to teach people. I've made some really good friends even from that. It's just people I don't get to see them that often, but I see them in the field, and we've got that character connection already because of that.
Yeah.
And it was all it was a little social, talking about the nature of the lawn.
Yeah.
And just had a lot of fun, just experiencing the world of that small little sliver of it was, and it bit me really hard.
Yeah, that's good, because I gotta admit, like, because we came into it like we just went to Empire as the first one, and I totally get when people go, I go to smaller ones first, but I struggle to kind of think, how would I have reacted, like going to a smaller one. But it seems like there was quite a few, like I said before, there seemed to be quite a few people that were in that same boat, that were like, wanting to get into it, and then were starved of it, and then were like, oh yeah. So I think there was quite a few newish players coming in at that time.
Yeah.
So so you played the same character from?
I have. I've had a full 2 years of Bobbert in the field. I've lost some friends along the way.
Yeah.
But luckily I haven't had the character death yet.
No.
I'm dreading it a bit.
Yeah.
If or when it happens, but
yeah. So is Bobbert like your first and only LARP character, or you?
No, I do play a few other systems. I do Flying Lead, which is an ILARP event. I'm trying to think now. I did a Greek LARP this year, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so what's that one called again? Because I feel like
Asphodel.
Yeah. So because when we had Georgia on, she was talking about this. Yeah, that sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Porsonisis was my character in that, and a bit of he was a Macedonian pretender to the throne, very skeevy, very conniving, and was playing both sides, and it was just a lot of fun to meddle with people and push people's buttons and set them off against each other, and that's the fun of it, isn't it? Is you can role play it out, and just I got to slice someone's heart out at Asphodel, and that was quite fun.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And the fallout from that was very, very, very exciting.
Yeah. Do you think it's like it seems like a different type of character experience than these things? Because I feel like at Empire, because it's quite it's a slow burn of a game a bit, isn't it?
It is.
You know, so people do wild things with their Empire characters, but a lot of people, like you said, I mean, most of us don't intend to die, obviously, but you build them for like a long run, right? Is that kind of how you thought, especially with Bobbert being your first?
No, I kind of like had every intention he was just going to be an idiot and get himself killed very quickly. And I was going in, I didn't have any major plans. I thought I'd dip my toes in a few things, and then stuff just started to grow and get traction without me even meaning to. And now I've ended up, at E4 I got elected General of the Bounders, which was it was very bittersweet, icy and OC that.
Yeah, tell us what the what led you to sitting on that.
So I'd sort of been involved with the military game since the end of 2022, getting more involved in the on-field battle stuff and the politics behind the generalships. So I thought I'll go as a adjutant.
Adjutant, yeah.
Start learning the ropes a bit more, and then I remembered some stuff from the wiki, and I thought I'm going to go for the Bounders, because especially with our group's got a bit of a write-up as well that we've done ourselves. And the Hardtail were very much attached to the Bounders, which is, for those that don't know, the Marcher have 4 armies. We've got the Bounders, the Tusks, the Drakes, and the Strongreeds. That's George's. I really should know that one, considering I'm wearing her hoodie. Actually.
Exactly. The laying low, it's fine.
Yeah, laying low, it's fine. So the Bounders is the Uphold army. My group have a lot of attachments, so I thought I'm going to adjutant with another army and go for the general boundership. Met Alistair. I don't know if you've met him. I know he's well, we'll get to that. And he was adjutanting for Blackjack at the time, which was the Bounders General. Blackjack was going to step down, so me and Alistair talked OC and said, I want to go for it. He wanted to go for it. So we both stood. The vote came on the Friday afternoon of E4, and it was very close. In the Upwolders, I voted for him because I thought he would have been the better candidate. I just wanted to put my name forward.
Okay.
I ended up getting it by about 2 votes.
Okay.
And
Close,
then it was really rushed because they needed to get the name down to the hub and bits and pieces like that. So I got all my bits, started heading down there. Bambrick, who was Alistair's character, was there for a bit, and one of the other generals asked him to go and speak to Gildy up at camp, as he was my adjutant. That was our agreement.
Yep.
The other one was going to adj, and about half an hour after he disappeared, I'm like, "Where's Bambrick? Where's Bambrick?" Just as we're coming to the end of the first military council session, a few of the Unbound Union turn up and tell us Bambrick, Blackjack, and Aidan have died out on a skirmish. And I'm like, what? And it was from that moment, it was like, I've got to play this, I've got to run with this.
Yeah.
Like, bit of trauma, always a bit of fun.
Yep.
So Bambrick's died. If he'd got the generalship, he would have been sat in that seat.
Oh,
was this the Cold Sun skirmish?
Yeah, this was the Cold Sun skirmish that butchered our battle mages. Yeah, so it put a fair downer on me for a little bit.
Yeah,
for that, but spoke to him afterwards, and I'm so excited to see what he does next now.
Oh yeah,
and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I really wish he'd been around still, because I think we could have had some really good stuff. But that's what happens, isn't it? It's like you make a choice.
You make profound decisions. Those profound decisions, right?
You've got to run with them.
Yeah, it's I got to admit, like those Cold Sun skirmishes, people are like, "Oh, you're gonna go." I'm like, in character, I'm not gonna be like wimp out of them in character, but really, I am metagaming away from them completely. I'm like, this, like, I have no intention.
I have no interest in day magic. None at all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stay away from that.
What do you think? Like, what do you think PD's thinking with the Cold Sun stuff? Because
I think they're trying to change the game for us a bit. Is what they're doing. We've been fighting orcs and barbarian human nations for a long time now. And they've gone, okay, they're getting the hang of this now. Let's change this up. Let's give them something new that they don't understand.
Yeah.
Let's cause some chaos in the game.
Yeah, because like at first, when I first heard, was it like E4 last year when they first showed up, and people were like, "Oh, they're brutal and this, that." And I'm like, "Oh well, maybe they just maybe it just wasn't a very well organized skirmish, or something happened, or there's rumors spreading, because it does on the field." But it seems that everybody is coming back with the same result against them, and it very much feels like the brief that they've been given as skirmish crew is no mercy. Just wipe them out. And I'm like, that's brutal.
Sat in the military council tent and hearing the skirmish list at the end, it was like failure. Remember, there was 2 successful skirmishes against Cold Sun.
Yeah,
and that really excites me.
Yeah,
out of character.
Out of character. Yeah,
I see it terrifies.
Oh yeah, because I'm desperate to like go on one to see, but I do not want my character to go on. So I'm like, no, that's not the game I want to play with this character. Like, almost want to be like a fly on the wall and be like, I want to go see what this is all about and see, because you just see the aftermath. I mean, it's
I guess we'll find out more, because me and Bobbert and Amberlane have both gone to Breggers Land this season. With a couple other armies to try and sort out the Cold Sun problem in Breggers Land. So
so hopefully you lot have fixed it for us, and we're going to come back and we're all good.
Well, yeah, because Dawn was sitting pretty for like in the winds, like we were sitting like pretty, because we were just like, oh yeah, the Cold Sun are around, but they haven't really affected us much. But so what's going on with the Cold Sun in Breggers? Because
that skirmish set off the whole chain of events, because that skirmish that killed Blackjack and Banbrick and the other two, was Cold Sun appearing in Bregersland.
Mm-hmm.
And once we found out, and Anne Boleyn had already made up her mind, and I sort of clocked what she was thinking, and I was like, I'm not letting you go alone. So that's what we both decided straight away. Then we're going to Bregersland. We're going to sort out Cold Sun and see if we can get rid of them.
I don't know. I guess because we've all been playing the same amount of time. I don't know whether this has happened before. Because obviously they have like so people who don't play Empire, obviously, like, you've got the Eternals, but they're in their magical realms, is where I get our magic from, but we can't physically go there. So it's not as if we can be like, let's attack the Day Realm type thing. They're just coming at us. And I think before they have just allied with barbarians, and they've kind of mixed the Eternal game with the barbarian game in that way. But it seems like this time, again, I don't know whether it's happened before. I know that they've raised undead armies and that, but
from everything I've understood and spoken to the people that know about more of the day stuff and the magic stuff, this hasn't happened.
It's kind of
before.
Unprecedented, yeah.
It's a big thing,
yeah,
and it's exciting to be involved with it.
Because like you said, it's different. Like it's just like otherwise it's just like, oh, these barbarians. Oh yeah, now these have teamed up with the same suspects with monsters and blah blah blah. But because, like you said, this one is they're just popping up in our own lands, and it's like internal almost. Yeah.
Like, it did shake everything up, because was it not E3 that it sort of we had like the skirmish went out and a lot of people died straight away against
it was the first it was that E4.
Yeah,
oh no, wait, hang on.
E3
No,
because
E3, yeah, I'm getting
it's
confused.
the event that we died at the end because some of our friends died at the start of it.
That's
so
right,
it was E3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was that when they should? Because basically we had a load of. I don't know what skirmish they first turned up in, but I know the first time we heard them, it was almost. I think it was almost. I didn't go on the skirmish, but from what I heard, it was almost like a little bit kind of sneaky. They didn't say, oh no, it's no threat. They went, oh yeah, it's high threat. But they were like, oh yeah, there's the opportunity was to go protect the harps of
Astolat.
Yeah, which is a very like troubadour-y, like, it's like, oh yeah, and it's in Imperial territory, and it's just like, let's go see what this is about. There's something's going on with the harps of Astolat, and then a load of people went out there and just went, this was waiting. We'd have no idea what the hell that was. Whoa.
So that E3, the marches also had something similar with Day Magic. They had a skirmish to Mitwold it was actually our newly elected Mitwold senator that was named as a fresher to lead it. And they had some weird stuff. I don't think anyone died on that skirmish, but it's Day Magic, but this was Siaka Herald. And that, I don't know if you read the wins, you probably didn't, but the E4 wins for Mitwold was no Cold Sun, but all these Siaka Heralds are murdering like your football teams and your innocent villagers. And
didn't the march, is this the same skirmish that there was marchers going to be going out to challenge
one-on-one combat
Siaka Heralds in one-on-one combat, or is this something else? Or am I muddling this up?
This was a fresher one. There was something was hunting in Mitwold, and essentially the heralds or Eternals, I'm not entirely sure, had like quite pointedly asked us, are we allowed to hunt in Mitwold to the skirmish leader? And the stuff that was happening, like they were under high threat, and apparently they said yes. And that's again, it causes more chaos, and it gives us plot, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah, because we ended up in like Siaka plot, didn't we? Like, because it completely unintentionally ended up in Siaka plot.
Unintentionally survived.
There was loads of stuff going on, but
there was a curse. Yeah. So it was one of the curses that we're involved with, but like our house beforehand ended up accidentally fighting a Siaka Herald well, it was like an encounter, and there was just the three of us standing there, and it was just meant to be like a conversation. Then a big shark monster appeared, and I got to fight it, and then it started hunting us. So E3, it was walking through Anvil, and it walked up to our camp, to the gates of our camp. And it was terrifying. And we were dead at this point. We were like in the tent looking out. Everyone was so calm and collected, and they were talking to it. And I'm like, stab it now, kill it.
Yeah.
We outnumber it.
Yeah, you mentioned your death. That gave me a lot of RP as well at E3.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Thank you very much for that.
No problem. I tell you what, there was.
It was lovely seeing. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no! I mean that's. I mean, you know, you said you hadn't, obviously you haven't had, you know, a character death yet, and you're dreading it, but it also is like some of the best. It's some of the best game in a weird way. Like you won't get anything else like it. But just because of those moments, just like even you know, you appear, because again there was so many people there, and just those moments like you like appearing. There when we were dying was just like, it was just beautiful, you know, because you don't realize how much of a story you're creating, you know. You're like, oh, this event until the story comes to an end, and then those little moments happen, you know, and you're like, oh, just, you know, all the little interactions that led up to that moment, you know.
It was weird for me because I just finished getting off the field, and I think a runner had come up and said, one of the Dornish commanders wants to say thank you, like, to me. So it's like, okay, I'll come down quick. I've got to get back to camp because I've got to debrief my unit. Get down there, and the glory square is just full. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I see Lupo. He does tower above the rest a bit. So I was like, maybe he knows who I need to speak to. Go over there, and he turns round to me and goes, and I could just see it. I'm like, what's up? And he just steps out of the way, and you two are on the floor. And I'm like, oh. And the waterworks happened. I dropped my sword, fell to my knees, and it hit me pretty hard, actually. Like, in character, it was like I had every faith in you two, in your characters, that you just smash it. And
I mean, that was the thing. I think because people, I mean, us included, I think people just expected, you know, there was things, not so much things unsaid maybe, but definitely things undone. And like you said, people just expected that connection to continue. And because we didn't our character didn't plan to die, it just mechanically happened, you know, but it made sense in the story at the time, you know. And we were in the end, even though it like really upset us, you know, we were proud of what we did. But I think that's why it hit everybody so hard, because they were just like, what, they're gone. What?
And the thing was, I know from thinking back after the event, I was like, I was in the forest with you all maybe about 10 minutes before that all happened.
Yeah,
because we'd been asked by Orem, General Orem, to come and help support because you were getting pushed. So I marched the bill block in, pushed them back, and then a runner had come for us and said, we need you out here. So I turned around and left. And
it was right. It was right after the marchers left. That
if only it stayed.
If only. But the thing is, like, it's one of there's so many things that happen because there's so many. Again, it's like they've done a good job of naming their company, right? Because you make the decision, and every single decision you make leads to that final outcome. You know, there are some instances where you're just like, oh, that big mistake led to this big thing, but what led to our deaths was just like lots of decisions, and every decision we made was in character as well. Like it didn't make any sense that, you know, we were doing the job we were told to do, you know.
Like, I don't regret like what happened, because I mean, the last, like, there was that last decision where I could have gone a different direction, but we ran into them and we got surrounded, and I don't regret that, because I'm like, okay, Aranel she always ran straight into it. She wouldn't have left anyone. She doesn't leave people. She didn't leave people. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, you know, she would have done that. So it makes perfect sense for her, because in her mind, as her and Godric were fighting what seemed like 100 of Jotun,
Yeah.
everyone else was getting out and they were getting to go, and she stayed. And
you probably saved a lot of people. That's the thing. With your sacrifices, you probably did save a lot of people.
Yeah. 100. That's exactly what, you know, that we did the job that we were told to do by the generals. That's exactly where the generals actually wanted us. Specifically, I'm pretty sure they didn't want us to die, but like that was basically the job we had as basically the last out of the field. And then, you know, afterwards you do actually go through that, like, those stages of grief, and like anger and denial are definitely a part of those as well. So yeah, some, like, especially when we're talking about it publicly as well, it's difficult not to be like, if only these people had come and they were there at this moment. But you can't, like, you know,
it's becoming a bit easier now, because it's kind of like fond memories and things, and hearing other people's side and other people's point of view is really cool, because even all of last event, we had people coming up to the camp to sing songs about Arnel and Godric, and a load of Imperial orcs came over with a hallowed item and lots of roses and everything for Arnel. And I'm just like, this is really cool. Like, there's still game happening, but it just sucks that we had to die.
Yeah. That was my first interaction with Mortaire. What's Mark's character name?
Morrigan.
Morrigan. It was Morrigan.
Yeah, she was full on.
Oh yeah. It was like, she could see I was emotional, and she just grabbed me and went and hugged me, and it was like, okay, yeah, thank you. I did need that. And Mark, I've interacted with Mark as Morrigan since, and he just does a fantastic job with that character. She's phenomenal to speak to. I really do want to come. I meant to come. I was so busy last event. I meant to come down and actually speak with her about your deaths. I just did not have a chance.
Well,
there's a Whispers next event.
There is a Whispers through the Black Gate. Same as publicly. Well, that was the thing, because when we went...
That'd be my third.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people have you
lost?
Just about been able to save?
I've lost 4 now. I've lost 4 close friends I see. I've done 3 Whispers so far. That would be the 4th if I come to yours. So it's mounting up, and there's a joke that goes around IC and a bit OC as well, which I love, which is people turning around to me and going, "He's dead, Bob," which refers to my friend's Marcus's old character Tomothy, with the whole Senate over the wall Matilda Fisher thing. But since then they have changed it up now, and it's "They're dead, Bob."
Yeah,
it's like, let go, like, you're still here, move on. But he's dragging them with him, in a way, so that don't forget the mistakes of the past. I think is the thing of
what's it like when you speak to players that you know, but they're a new character?
The first interactions can be a bit clunky, just because you're like, I don't know what they're going to react like. I don't know what their new like goal is. I don't know, but it does tend to flow, and you pick it up fairly quickly. Okay, this is how they're playing it. Okay, let's bounce this back of how would I react to that? How would Bobbert react to that even?
So from my side of it, because I'd interact with people that had died, and it's sometimes a little bit, especially when they're like prominent characters in your storyline, and then you see them, you're like, oh, you're a different person. But what was interesting when I came in as Damon this time, and there was quite a few people that I'd obviously played, and I knew their characters from beforehand, but it was actually when I saw Bobbert on the
Saturday night.
On Saturday night, and I think it's because it was quite far into the weekend. I was more comfortable in this character. I'm like, this is who this character is. And then it wasn't until I started speaking to her, and when I started this conversation, as soon as we said hello, I had this like thing, and I was like, oh, so what's interesting here is that I know Jay, and I know Bob, but Bob knows Oliver but doesn't know Damon yet. So I get to basically give the first impression of I get to put forward how Bob first interacts with this person. That was really interesting.
I really enjoyed that as well. The whole that was the epitome of like Dornish noble. Like for me, that interaction was like that slight sneer and that air of better than everyone, which I was like, yes, thank you for giving me that. It's like, Bobber doesn't care what you think of him. But it was like I definitely felt that in and your whole demeanor.
That's good.
And I think it helped a bit though, the interaction of, because we were both at the Griffin Song soiree, weren't we? So it was nice to see so many people there for that. I really enjoyed.
Oh no, that was great that night.
That was so good. Like it was cool getting to act like nobles then, because it was actually a member of House Griffin-Song that came to Dawn and found us and was like, oh, you've been invited to this, I can show you how to get there. And it's like, again, like his previous character had died at E3 as well, and Aranel, his character, had this really great bond, this sort of rivalry.
Was that
Graham's character?
Yeah. So he was at Astora as well. Had a lot of fun with him. I love Graham's go at roleplay and his characters, and so much. I love what he's doing with this new one.
Oh, it is so good because we've managed to create like a different bond between these two characters, but there's still, because we're still the players behind it and we still want to play a game together. So it was quite cool when he like brought us over. But watching that show at the League was so difficult because all I wanted to do was laugh and like, clap my hands and stuff. I was like, this is amazing. And I'm like, no, this is a little beneath me at this point.
Yeah, I kept glancing over just to see your two's reaction. I was like, oh, they're really going for it.
It's a difficult, like I said, those first impressions as well. It's difficult because you do have to make that choice. You're just like, especially when you're, you have another role player and they're going to, I kind of knew that people like yourself, Jay, are going to react. They're going to pick up on what I'm putting out and then give it back. But you do have to make a decision of just like, okay, well, I could be like, because I could be like, oh, Bo, I've not seen you in ages, and giving you a hug and things like that. Yeah. And go, that's how I've established a relationship. I'm like, no, I don't want to. This is how I want to play it. So it's a difficult choice to make sometimes because you're used to, especially when we played such happy-go-lucky characters before, and then try not to go too hard either. That's the thing. I think that was the thing with these new characters, is that because we had played way easygoing characters previously, now we know people well enough that we know that they're going to accommodate that type of role play. If we are being a little bit snooty and a little
my next character is going to be a lot different from Robert, completely. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a complete change of pace. And just different mental attitude towards everything.
I'm assuming you started out like as a marcher when you went to that first.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it was Bobbert as that farmer from Upwold, very basic storyline of just never really left Upwold, starting to get back to Hartford on the map and back to Anvil and stuff. But there's quite a big group of us. I think there's 11 now in my group. So there's a fair group of us, and we've all got different stuff to go and do. Obviously, the pub we run.
Yep.
Which is actually, I think, where I first met you both.
I imagine so. Most people.
I think it was your last Test of Metal challenge.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
it was our test of art. Oh yeah, no, it was. It was Test of Metal,
yeah.
wasn't it? It was the love stories part of it that we were on there. I think
it was. Yeah. Because you were both running up and down the March camp all day to find the stories, getting sent pillar to post, and
that was fun.
What was really funny about that, I was trying to like help you get that Marcher story, and we couldn't get it, and we end up giving up and going to Navarre, and then someone grabbed us in Navarre and gave us Navarre Marcher story.
Yeah, we got
nice.
the best Marcher story. It's funny because we orchestrated it a little bit out of character, just to maximize the game and create a good story. Like the whole getting the stories from people was obviously just pure role play. But what we decided, we were like, okay, how are we going to maximize our storytelling potential here? So. And then obviously we had a discussion out of character about a little bit of safety thing, like, oh yeah, basically where would you prefer? Because the task was to go to all the different nations, and we went, where are you comfortable going? And so we basically went, okay, well, if you're heading towards Wintermark, Navarre, and I'll go here, here, and here.
Yeah,
that was like our third ever event, and we'd spent most of it in Dawn, and we knew the Dawnish brief pretty well. I didn't realize how little I knew about the other briefs until I did that. No idea. So I had the League, the Brass Coast, and the Marches. Trying to get love stories out of those three nations is a fucking nightmare.
Surely the League must have been fairly easy. They love a good love story.
Oh my gosh, the League for him was amazing because we were like, there was a few of us out doing things and everything. I think I was hitting the Imperial Orcs and Wintermark, and he was going to the League, and it was one of our friends was coming back and had left him down at the League, and he was like, "You won't believe what he's done. He's gone and asked the King of Bales for stories of true love."
Oh no.
He's sitting talking to the King of Bales, got no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm full on role playing, and I knew what was going on. They're like, "Oh yeah, you want to go over there?" I'm like, "Okay, cool, go over there and ask about true love." No, the league were like completely shut off from talking about that. They had this kind of like they gave me the runaround a bit.
They do like a bit of drama.
Yeah, they kept like pushing me this way and that way, and I didn't get any luck there. The Brass Coast were just very blunt and just like, yeah, true love don't really exist. So it's all about the contract, blah 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 blah. And then the Marches were obviously just, as you can imagine, it was just like, I'm looking for stories of love, and they're just like, oh, well, my friend loves a pig, and I got lots of those stories, lots of those anecdotes.
I think I had the easy nations because I had no issue. They had love stories coming out of everywhere, and I was like, "It's great."
Yeah,
you're like, I can't get any. They're just Oh, didn't you have to talk to a puppet at one point?
Yeah, no, that was in the League. Yeah.
I think I know who that was as well.
It's just like
it's creepy.
Yeah, I mean, because they went. Oh, I'll tell you a love. I've got a love story, but you're going to have to basically the puppet knows the story, and you're going to have to ask the puppet. And the player just like went like this and turned around, and it's just Godric in his armor like talking to this puppet.
Yeah, it's their half magic, and I love that about the League. They've got some really good intricate, because they've got like two personas with their masks and stuff.
That's right.
Like the people, I don't know if it is the same person. It does sound like it. They use their puppet as their mask. Yeah, and it's like it creeps me out. Like, it creeps Jay out. Bobbitt's fine, but it creeps me out a lot. Speaking to that puppet, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, the League. I'm having more fun interacting with the League as my new character than I did my old character. I don't think God really understood much about, because he was very black and white person, Godric. I don't think he quite got it. Wasn't as worldly, but this character, what was fun about making this character is I made him a fair bit older and way more worldly, and I had it as part of his Test of Metal that he's traveled a lot and kind of has all the it was out of character. It was a good way to make connections, and so if people went, oh yeah, do we know each other? I'm like, yeah, because we can easily make a reason why we know each other. But two as well, it allowed for a bit more of an understanding of the different briefs and being able to. It was way easier now to interact with them. But with the love story thing, from a role play perspective, the marches were the most private. They were the most they knew what I was asking. Whereas like the league were like, oh yeah, go speak to those people, or there's not really, does true love really exist? That I would get a lot of questions of that back. But the marches once they deflected you with your humor and you push back more, they were just like, no, it's not something we speak about. It's not something I want to speak about in public. I got that a lot. So
yeah, we are very, very quiet about a lot of things, and the more I've delved into it and the more I've got to know, especially some of the more experienced marchers, there's some really good stuff to dig into and play with, which I'm looking forward to.
The march. Are you in what? So I know you don't want to give away any kind of ideas for the next character, but is there another nation that catches your interest?
I will be saying Marcher, I think, for the next one. I am interested in the league because I love the kit concepts, and the half magic is it's just really gets me, and the Renaissance Italian influences they have is really nice. Brass Coast interests me a bit as well.
Yeah.
Fleet captain, just be cool to play that sort of swashbuckling adventurer. I think would be nice.
I gotta admit, because some of the learning more about the Kohan and things like that. The Kohan brief definitely looks like a lot of fun. I'm interested in.
It's like proper full, just really enjoyable. You can run a good intense character with that brief.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be too deep.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Yeah. When you go into it, obviously you'll develop depth with that character once you start role playing, but you could go in there, have a concept and not have to worry as much about progressing it.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm worried about with the league brief. Because there's so much I want to pick up on. Yeah. But I don't know how to play that.
I think I honestly love all the nations, and there's so much to explore with all the briefs. But there are definitely, because it's always an interesting question to be like, oh, what would you play if not? Because I would definitely say that I wouldn't play in the Brass Coast, the League, or the Marches, but that's not because I don't like their nation brief. It's actually because I love the contrast of the characters I like to play, if you know what I mean. I like playing that Dornish noble with Marches because there's the contrast there. Same with the League. It's especially when I was Godric, and it was just it's your heart's on your sleeve and you tell everyone everything. It's like the antithesis to the whole mask brief. And it's just I like the contrast of all the different nations.
No, I'm very attached to the marches now. Is the problem. I don't I think I'd have to stay there a little bit longer. It would probably be a bit of a wind down character, so I can enjoy the atmosphere with my friends and plan something bigger in the long run.
Well, do you think that's what it is? Do you think it's like Friends? Because I know for us, it's when we died, but obviously one of the most common questions was, oh yeah, where you going now? Are you going to a different nation? Blah blah blah. But obviously we love Dawn. We love the Dornish brief. I do love it. But a lot of what influenced the decision was the group of people that we play with. Because you change nation, your camp's in a different place. You're going to leave that group of people. That's a big. Is it similar for yourself? How you'd you've playing marches is as much about playing with your friends as anything else.
Yes, 100%. A lot of my friends are in the marches. I've got a lot of friends in other nations as well. It's just I just so enjoy the fun we have together in the marches.
Mm-hmm.
But saying that, in the future I would like to do a Dornish character, but I do not know where to start.
Well, if you ever do, you ever do. That's the thing. I mean, the good thing about I imagine it's the same in every other nation, but within each like this, I would, if people go, right, what's your next character? There's so much in the Dornish brief that I can explore. Even though, like Godric was technically a noble, but the part of the brief that we focused on, we just looked at the nation brief and we clicked on the knight errant brief, and that's what we focused on, was like the tests. This time round we decided to be like, right, we've done that, now we want to, basically for my character, we wanted to become his nobles, and then we want to focus on other things. So we've focused a bit more on religion and things like that, but there's still a ton of other stuff within that nation that I would actually like to play. I would like to just go back and play complete Yo folk, or come back and play an enchanter.
That Yo folk for me would be probably a little bit too close to home.
Yeah.
With what I'm playing now.
That's the thing though. Some people just like to play something similar, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know
not at all.
Other people want to play something completely different, so it's just depends on the type of person you are, and I gotta admit, it's difficult sometimes, because you don't know whether you're doing the right thing. Because for us, we were like, should we do something different? Should we go to because so many people were like, oh yeah, are you going to go to a different nation? What you're doing? Are you going to go into magic, and you're going to this, and you're like, oh, should I? And then you start to worry that people are going to think, oh, they're just playing the same.
I was like, because I was a mess. I was so worried about that, because I've already found the game I like. I like the military game. That's the game I like. That's the game I want to pursue deeper. I didn't get a chance to fully get there. I already found my favorite parts of the game. So why would I not just continue doing that and carry on improving that knowledge of the military game and become something in the military council? That'd be cool. Yeah, that was Aranel's goal as well, but you know what?
You're gonna go at it from a different angle. That's the thing now, because you've already done that side of it. Go from it, and you've got to chase the fun. It's a game at the end of the day that we go to a field with our friends and play, and you've got to have fun.
Yeah.
Whether that involves, when you die, staying with the same nation or not. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and you're a paying customer at the end of the day as well. like no, if I want to go back and do the same thing. Was it like, because we, funnily enough, like my first ever game, the first ever 5 minutes of me ever playing a LARP game, I ran for general of the House of Glory. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just went, oh yeah, cool. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But aside from that, the battlefield stuff has always, I think, interested both of us. And because of after of what I did at that first ever event, people have always been like, oh yeah, do you want to go for general? And I'm like, no, it's boring meetings. No. But we've slowly, because we know more about it now, we've slowly kind of slipped into, like, you've probably seen us at military events quite a lot, So, but for you, did you come in being like, oh, that's the game I want to pursue?
So I came in to my first event. I thought, I'm gonna explore and get out of like the camp and be a trader and do stuff like that. I didn't leave the Marcher camp apart to go from battle at the first event. I had so much fun, and it completely derailed what I had in my mind. I then had a think, looked back, like what am I interested in? I'd been really enjoying talking to people and like politicking a bit and stuff like that. So I thought I'll be a proxy for one of our senators and help them get elected and stuff like that, which I did for the end of the first year. But that's when all the stuff, I was really enjoying the battlefield stuff like yourselves. And I was also quite interested in the military game, like the overarching military game. So I started to take an interest in that. And then stuff happened in game, and it was just like, this is the right way to go now. just follow it, follow the fun, enjoy it, and ended up running for general, and now I'm in charge of the bounders.
So I mean, obviously, like you want to keep a few things close to you. What did you have any like ambitions with what you're going to do with the army, or are you just kind of seeing how it's going?
I've got some plans that I'd like to try and at least start the ball rolling whilst I'm in tenure. But there's we'll see if they come to fruition first, because I think they're going to be a big challenge, which is going to be fun to try and do. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I didn't like, I don't really want to put myself forward for any type of hat like that until I actually have a plan, because I just feel like if I'm going to go to the senators with like, oh yeah, I want to be a general, I'd prefer to be like, I have a plan for this army if I'm in charge of it, that type of thing. But I just haven't formulated any opinions like that yet, so I'm probably going to wait. Robyn's probably a little bit further ahead with ideas. I
have too many ambitions and I'm trying to do them all.
I don't even know. I know there are definite rules for certain hats. You can't hold them at the same time. But I'm not entirely sure what the rule is with, because there are like, not lesser positions, but there are certain positions that don't really interact, so I don't even know if you can hold them at once.
I have been the sergeant of the hedgehogs, which is one of our build blocks. Like your lancers, essentially. It's a hat as such, but not a PD hat. So you can run that whilst also doing other hats. I'm guessing it's probably something similar in Dawn with your sort of stuff.
In fact, it's what's it like? What is it like running an organized unit on a battlefield?
What is that like?
You say that. We've probably got as much chaos as you have.
Oh, really?
We seem more organized, and I think the way we fight, it looks more organized. I had a lovely bit of on battlefield RP at E4. Actually, was obviously we were fighting in Tromsø against like Fisher's lot and the Orcs, and Bobbert was getting very pushy and trying to push the line forward, because one of Fisher's like family was like right in front of us, and I pushed forward with my greatsword at a time, like, come on, forward, and I just feel this hand on the back of my plate grab me and pull me back, and it's our commander. It was Mitch, and he was like, you should not be there. Get back behind your line and command them properly. Like, yes, sir. Like, yes, I'll do that. It was like absolutely sparring, because I was trying to get him to push forward, and it was like, he'd noticed and grabbed me back. And that's that RP is lovely on the battlefield when you can get it, and it's just fun.
Battlefield RP. That's the thing. I didn't actually realize that, because someone, I think it was actually when I was being asked about, like, out of character about like test of ardor that was being set for me, and they're like, oh, what type of things do you want to avoid if I set you a test, and blah blah blah. And I was like, what type of role play? And I knew what role play I didn't want to do. I'm like, because ideally, even though I didn't actually get to finish my test of ardor, but the idea was to do something that I was good at, something that would challenge me mentally, and something that I wasn't so comfortable with. And I tried to think what role play I was comfortable with, but then I hadn't actually realized that out on the battlefield that is all role play, and I wasn't thinking about it, because sometimes when, like, if you're out in the field and you're having a political conversation with someone, or even just actually just sitting around having a drink, sometimes talking about what's happening in Bregasland or the Barrens, you're consciously like, oh, I'm role playing and I need to respond in a certain way, even when you're relaxed. But I hadn't realized, like, on the battlefield, I'm actually role playing, and I wasn't I don't need to think about it at all, because it is role play, because you're not actually going out there and fighting people. So that's what I
But
realized.
the adrenaline gets to you as well, doesn't it? That's the thing, and it really does drive you to like have those intense moments out there, and there's some really good ones.
Oh, it's because had you done any like reenactment or anything like that before?
No,
No.
nothing like that. I got to luckily last year spend a fair few weeks, like once a week, meeting up with friends and doing a bit of sparring, so that's helped. A lot of people like Matt Perry, he's been great, showing me some longsword techniques and stuff like that. All the marches are very, very good, and a lot of them are very proficient, and they are more than willing to say, come over here, we'll show you some stuff, and going through bill hook techniques and the different ways you can hold it, because it's so much use you can do with a bill hook. I think that's possibly why we're as effective as we are.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting kind of fight, because we only really got to fight with you at like E3 and
E2
and E2 and E3. Yeah. And that was pretty. Mind you, the marches have got a pretty good reputation on the battlefield, though, for being.
Yeah, touch wood. we haven't had a major issue for the last few years, but it does feel like it's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been every time we've been sort of the last like you said, like E2 and E3, like seeing the marchers come over to like cover like. It was E2, wasn't it, Oliver? That we had like that. Yeah. So E2 was amazing because I remember being out in that battle and realizing I don't have to look behind and worry about anyone coming up from behind, because I know the marchers are there and they're not going to let anyone come here, and we're not going to let anyone get to them, because we'd gotten surrounded for like a second, and then Dawson the marchers just went goodbye, Druge.
Yeah, that and we weren't even at full fighting strength at E2 because of all the shenanigans going on over the rest of the weekend with that. Yeah. So but that I very much enjoyed seeing the ones that were fighting come down to Dawn and stand in the glory square to go off to battle with you. That was some incredible, like, just watching it was just so much fun.
It was incredible. It was like we had a big estranged family together.
That's exactly what the marches in Dawn are, though.
Oh, well, hang on. So, did we not fight at E1 together as well? Was that not?
I think we did. Yeah,
we had to have. I think we have fought together every time apart from E4.
Yeah, because that's what kind of helped the whole like the drama at E2. Because I think before that, there'd been several, even before the three of us had started playing, there'd been a long time since the Marches and Dawn had fought together. And obviously a lot of people had, new players.
Yeah, sorry, I'm confusing two battles. Yeah. It was a battle at E1 where like all the marchers were there, and that was like our first experience fighting with them, and I didn't know what to expect. And then I was just like, wow, that's badass.
Because I think there'd been a lot of like that historical March at Dawn kind of interaction. Up until then, we'd had friendly competition with like the Brox Toll and all this, and it's all a little bit like the marches are doing and we're like, oh no, we're the best fighters, we'll be fine, we're fine, we don't need them, and we're always, because we're on separate sides of the map as well, obviously we hadn't fought together, and then I think it was E1. I think that because we all got on so well at that battle, I think that helped the whole drama that was unfolding at E2.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, and then the march, I can't remember the end of that battle. The marchers, like, they were meant to be leaving first, but instead they left last. Yeah. That was just so cool, like hitting our swords against all the spears walking past, and just, I think that really did help sort of, I think last year as a whole, the Marchers and Dawn, they've just slowly been like patching things up. So something's going to go wrong next time, I'm sure.
Just about time for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
chuck a grenade in there and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Do you ever? It's a little bit. Do you find it maybe a little bit more intense now that you've got like one of those kind of more top tier hats? Because this is the thing. Because it's easy to be like. Because you're going to be one of the ones that's going to have to put a vote in, whether, do Dawn want to do this? Well, I'm going to have to vote, so I have to upset someone.
E4 was my first time voting for stuff, and it all sort of lined up really well with what the nations wanted. So we're all sort of on the same page. I'm very much looking forward to. Mind you, I have had a little bit. Connor that plays Iron Osric, the Green Shields General in Wintermark. We had some very heated discussions about me not going to Breggers Land with the Bounders.
Okay.
And that was fun. Because he was like, no, you need to come to Skalan. You need to come and like finish off the orcs. I was like, I'd love to, but loyalty.
Yeah. But loyalty's great. Like, I love loyalty.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Like a little excuse for everything.
It is
loyalty.
Yeah. So, but that's probably the start of it. I'm looking forward to the interactions of having those heated debates and going, no, this is the right way, there, that's the right way, and seeing where it will lead and what anger and like stuff will happen from it, because it's just so fun.
Yeah, especially since we're like,
and we've got Zoran as well, so we'll see. He's always one to be loud and proud about what he wants, which I appreciate.
Yeah, Jeff's such a good
yes.
such a good role player in that general tent. It's so fun just to watch the interactions that some of them have in there, especially some of the ones. That's the thing, like people go on about people having hats for a long time, but I think in those situations, in the Senate, in the military council, and probably I don't know anything about Conclave or Synod, but probably there as well, I think it's good to have a mix of people that have done the job for a long time and people that are newer to the job, because it makes everything, because you need that you need that experience in there to be like, I've seen this happen 100 times before.
You can take my advice or you can't, but
like,
I'm going to give it to you. If you don't take it, it's your fault.
Yeah, because it's definitely like, even though we say, especially for people like that aren't LARPers that listen to this, and we call them like games, like political game, military game, things like that. Like if you go for the military council, you're a general. That's definitely a political game, right? It's definitely big politics.
100%. I've had a couple of letters, icy letters about stuff already, which has been quite nice. Nothing too heated yet or pointed, which has been nice, but I'm sure they'll come in next year.
Shakily, opening up the letter like, please be a nice one.
No, I mean, do you have to? Because like you obviously you do your like orders at the end of the event, right? So
about it's the last meeting after battle. On the Sunday. That's when we write our orders and submit them, and
So did you get that general seat like at the start of the event?
I got it Friday evening.
Right. So you didn't even have an idea really of.
I had the whole Friday night sealed my idea of what I was doing. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, like interacting with everyone and like having that discourse of, why are you doing this? This is the reason why I'm doing it. Because we need to. And then other generals coming over going, you should be coming here. I was like, no, you like, I'm not. I could be swayed if you can either fill in what I'm going to do, or you can convince me it is more important.
Because that's something you don't really have access to, that part of the game, unless you are a general or occasionally an adjutant, because obviously you hear, like, you can hear everything that happens through the decision making of the battle opportunities and the debriefs and things like that, and you can hear like earwig conversations of where people should be going. But usually, even if you go and listen into military countries, you don't really see where everyone went until the winds come out, and you're like, oh, all right, okay, they went over there. Okay, interesting.
It's a lot of writing at military council, but it's also a lot of fun because you do just get those conversations about political stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's armies moving around a map,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love the like behind the scenes parts when you're watching and people will come up and just whisper things to you, like, you know, I think it seemed a bit heated on the Friday now. It always seems a bit heated, but it seemed quite heated on the Friday this time. And I was like walking past and somebody like grabbed me and went, they're deciding this and I think that. And I'm like, I've missed the first hour of this meeting, but I'm pretty sure you're going to give me your biased opinion of what's happening right now.
That's what it's all
and
about,
I'm going to go in and someone else is going to give me theirs.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is so cool. Just hearing all these little bits.
It is really fun, that. Yeah. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. We've already been talking for an hour here, and I wanted to ask you about crewing, because we mentioned before we start recording. So obviously you've been playing for a couple of years at Empire. When did you start deciding to like crew smaller LARPs? And
so it was this year actually I started crewing. February. I got to crew a March Empire player event called the Wild Hunt. Got bitten by the bug of getting to do different characters, getting to play monsters, getting to terrify my friends a bit. if you ask one of the Hartel, he's still trying to get me back for that one. So started there. I'm very lucky. I live about an hour and a half away from the Eversley LARP site, so I'm fairly close. It's not too hard to get to after work on a Friday and stuff. But started, I can't even remember what the second. It was a very busy 2 months where I did about 7 or 8 games.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, in 2 months, including an Empire event.
I'd be dead after that.
I think one of them, it was 6 weeks back to back. I fully committed to it. I don't do stuff by half. But it's that experience of getting to do the different RP things that you can't do with the characters that you play all the time. Getting to involve yourself on the more evil side or the bad side, and really enjoy interacting with the players. And some of them don't even know you're a crew, and you go in there, you're given some plot to drop, or you're sent in to try and find stuff out or disseminate bad information.
That's
and
cool.
and you can have a lot of fun with it. I think it was last month. It's November now, isn't it? October, I went and crewed Hoist the Colours, which is pirate themed. One at Eversley, and I got to do an embedded NPC role for most of the weekend, which was a lot of fun. So I was given a brief by the game runners, Johnny and Kitty and that lot, and sent in, told to find these maps. Embedded myself with a crew and managed to seal one of the maps, and me and the other embedded NPC were passing it between us the whole weekend.
Oh, that's so cool. So
what is an embedded NPC?
It's a non-player character that's sent in for plot reasons or for to do stuff in the camp, direct the players in a direction or help them decide or get information back to the game runners. These were sent in to cause chaos essentially. And we'd been passing this map back and forward. I'd been with Winterburn, which was the character's name. I'd been trying to be whiter than white and be goody two shoes, even though I was the one that stole the map. And dude who was playing the other one, Magpie, was going around stealing everything, putting stuff in his pockets and doing all this fun stuff. And obviously all the attention was on him. So Saturday night comes and the pirate crews have had enough. So they decide to string him up and kill him. Didn't find the map because he'd given it back to me. And about 20 minutes later, Eddie, who was playing Captain Psalms of the crew that I'd embedded myself with, came over to me and just pulled me aside and said, "Are you okay with like some physical contact, RP and stuff like that?" I'm like, "Absolutely fine, go for it." Leaves it about 15 minutes and then comes up behind me and headlock, drags me off the bench I'm sitting on and quizzes me up against the wall, searches me for bits, and like I hand this map over. I was like, I didn't know what it was. It like really played into like idiot of Magpie just handed me this thing and it worked. It played off that they believed me, and it was so much fun. Managed to like calm everything down, pretend I'm still involved with the crew, and that lot walked off, told the game runners what had happened, and they were like, spot on, like really good, like fantastic. And then got to go in the Sunday morning for the big fight, as like the main leader of these pirate hunters, and drop that reveal on the players.
Oh my god!
And that's not something you get to do when you play.
No.
But it flexes those muscles and gets you to really enjoy some good fun.
And it's as good an experience as well. I mean, I totally get, like, even just listening to you telling that story, I get why people like sometimes will advise newer LARPers to crew, because it's like, that's the thing, because from what I hear, a lot of LARPs over here, the way we run LARPs, it's very just like player led, and it's a lot of people get on with it, but you don't get much prompts. Like there's no, like, especially like Empire and that, nobody's going to come up to you and be like, "Oh, here are your motivations. Here's your mission for the weekend," type thing. But hearing you talk about that story, I'm like, oh, that's quite a good in between of like, you know, you're in there, you're still playing, you're still role playing, but you have a job to do, and you have role play prompts, and you have a goal that you need to achieve. You know,
but that's the thing. So whilst I wasn't doing that NPC role, I was off doing encounters and stuff as well, as different as like monsters, and the Five Kingdoms I also crewed a couple of weeks ago. I got to do a beast folk, which was essentially big like horse legs suit. There's just to go over your legs, and we were all like in a clearing, and the players came in to try and get something, and we just attacked them like as an ambush. And it's a lot of fun. You get to dress up in these cool costumes, run around, beat up your friends with your big foam weapons, and have a lot of fun.
So Five Kings, which one's that?
So that's another ILARP Eversley event, but it's their high fantasy one. So there's like elves and dwarfs, and it's like it's like D&D.
I have heard about this one.
It's very fun. I really enjoy it. I've also got a couple of other like NPC roles in that, which are a nice interaction with the players and stuff. Again, as a contact and stuff, that like I'll go in and give them plot bits and pieces like that, and it's nice. And
I'd love to do that, like be like crew for some of those sort of things. Although the bit that I think sounds really cool is getting to like be a monster, or work with a monster, or those photographs as well, like the Empire ones with the war rhinos with people riding them. Like I want to do that. That's my goal, is to be able to NPC something where I get to like come in as a big monster on a big monster to terrify a lot of people.
What I've done a Drake whilst at Eversley, so like it was kind of like a Velociraptor costume. That was really fun.
Oh wow.
Running around like a Velociraptor. Tail does stuff as well. There's refs that call out the hits and stuff, and I'm just trying to think, there's a couple others I've done as well. Stone Golem was quite fun. Big Stone Golem costume. Mandela Owlbear. That was very fun. So like that was at an Empire player event as well, and like you do strike down with your wings and stuff like that, and cleaves, and
I want to strike down with my wings.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So if you are interested in crewing, go give it a go.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of stuff you don't get to do as a player, and you can usually a lot of these ones in the evenings you've got an R&R character, so you can go in and relax and have fun with your friends and just relax.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the ones they run in Eversley just sound really really quite good. I've not heard a bad word.
Yeah, I've spent most of my weekends there this year.
Yeah. How do they because like you said they had a pirate one? How do they? Because I've heard the set dressing is really good. What's the setting if they're doing a pirate LARP in the middle of the woods?
So they're very, very fortunate. They've got 2 villages essentially. They've got Western style like cabins, bar area one side, and then they've got a Viking-esque like wooden longhouse tent set up the other side. But it's how they set it up with like the bits around. Yeah. So they use the buildings and they'll decorate it with like a wheel off a ship and like anchor paraphernalia and stuff like that. Yeah. They run second breakfast. Most wholesome.
This is the one I really want to go to.
Yeah, I really, really want to go to it.
The most wholesome thing I've ever been to. It is just genuinely such a nice, chaotic time. It is very chaotic because you've got a bunch of LARPers that are running around pretending to be hobbits, and it's fantastic. But you're also eating all weekend because everyone brings food and
sounds like heaven for me, you know.
That sounds like amazing. I mean, that just reminded me, like it was sale last event, wasn't it?
Yes.
With marches. I always forget to eat at Empire events, and last event was the worst because a new character, and I was like, oh okay, I'm just gonna ease in gently. I had all these things to do. Totally forgot. And then like I heard the chants of all the marches coming. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to eat some food. I'm starving. I had like a whole meal by the time everybody had gone back. Amazing. An apple and some bread. Somebody filled my cup. I was like, this is great. I can actually eat something. So I kind of like, when I think of like second breakfast, I just think of this sort of like wholesome vibe of just, lots of food, lots of drink, lots of shenanigans.
It is. That's the whole premise of that, is shenanigans, food, and fun.
Yeah, we need to go.
Yeah, I'm going to. We'll try and get on one of their games this year because I think we were doing something like both times anyway. We didn't try and get tickets.
Yeah, it was on my birthday this year, like literally on the day. So we had like other plans, and I was like, oh my gosh, it would have been so cool if we could have gotten tickets to that. Though that would have been a really good way to spend it.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because you think of, that LARPs like that are ones that, even though I've not been, it's one that I usually tell other people about because it doesn't follow the same kind of images that people might come up with when you say LARP to someone, because it sounds like things like Five Kingdoms, probably Empire. When you say LARP, you think, oh yeah, lots of people running, like nerds running around pretending to be wizards and clerics, like shouting at each other and hitting each other. But the thing with that is like, that is such a good my favorite part of LARP isn't I love running around hitting people with swords, but the sitting down, eating food, pretending to be in a world that's not this one, and drinking good drink and eating good food with friends. It just sounds like heaven to me.
It's very much enjoyable. One of the ones I actually play there, Flying Lead. It's another one. It's okay, you've got combat and stuff, but it's different enough because you've got the setting on that is so good because you've got blank firing weapons. You've got just everyone goes really hard with the Flying Lead brief. And
this is the Western one, isn't
it? The Wild West one, like late 1800s, like Wild West.
I mean that's another one that I would love to go to. The thing is, I feel like I'm made for that type of game because like I'm an equestrian person in real life.
There's no horses.
There's no horses, but
that's gonna make him so happy.
That's the good part of it. And I've been to the States and live the cowboy life. I've literally I could probably cobble together, apart from the actual gun that fires the blanks, I could probably cobble together a kit just out of actual work clothes that I have.
That's what I did the first time I went. There was someone had dropped out and the mate said, "Do you want to come? I knew you were excited about this." I had a week of like, okay, jeans,
yep,
collarless shirt, waistcoat, braces, done,
yeah.
And it's very close with Empire for me, flying lead.
But I think the thing that puts me off is the fact that it looks so popular, and it is one of those that when it is like the tickets are out, people like buzz about it, like going, "Oh yeah, I didn't get tickets." So I think it's one of those things that you're just gonna have to be like. I mean, I guess this is the curse of like if you run good small LARPs, it's gonna be busy, competitive for places and things like that. So a lot of them, it's just like, yeah, I would love to go to Second Breakfast. But it's not, unlike Empire, it's not like, oh, I'm just like blocking out that week because I'm definitely going type thing.
Yeah.
But, I guess in general, this is general advice for like small LARPs. I guess crewing, there's usually more opportunities out there for people who want to try smaller LARPs, because usually people are desperate for crew. I don't know what the people who run Eversley are like for
they're
spaces,
like they're usually fairly full, but they are always like, send them a message, especially if it says they're full. Send them a message if you want to crew. There's usually like, they'll ask if they need you. They are very good, especially
on a waiting list as well. Because I know definitely for things like Empire, usually they have a number of like skirmish crew, NPC crew that they want, but only like 2/3 of them actually show up. You know, I think that's the issue that they have. That's it. We're well over time.
I do apologize.
No. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I just don't want to. I don't want to be too greedy with your time, Jay. Since you have a platform now, is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to put out there?
I've got an Instagram, I guess, which is for my LARP stuff. If I can remember what it's called.
I'll put it down.
It's okay. We'll put it
in.
Put it in the description. We'll put it down in the description.
But I don't. Yes, thank you for having me on.
No problem. It's been an
great chatting with you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we appreciate you, buddy. Right, we'll say goodbye to the podcast, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this show, make sure that you like, follow, subscribe on all the platforms. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a comment down below so we know that someone out there is listening. We have many more Larp Tales episodes coming up for you. We have more guests in the works for you. In the meantime, though, please feel free to go check out some of our other episodes in our back library. Until the next time, though, we love you very much and stay safe.